The last minute change is, hey everyone, welcome back to CJRaceCars YouTube channel. This week, we are finishing off the week by finishing this front end mount here. Taylor's doing some final welding. Troy's doing some final body stuff. And basically, the final touches before powder coat. We mentioned we got some parts in for the turbo system. Gonna change it, we'll show you that also. Finishing those few final touches, disassembling the whole entire car, final welding, and going to powder coat soon.
Almost cut this to fit where it needs to go. The bottom is probably further forward than the top. Right. Yeah. It gives me a little better angle on the winch.
Yeah. This is good to go there, right? So we got Danny under here mounting the front end. It's really hard to get the camera in there, so I'm gonna try to explain best what he's doing. He put this angle at the bottom of the fender here, you can see. What that does, it clicos to the rocker panel and then clicos to the front end, just making sure that that fender's straight. We don't want it poking in or out, that way the body's real straight and in line when he does the bottom mount. He's doing the top mount first. You can see Troy kind of got this trimmed in earlier. With his respirator on, he trimmed this in with the respirator on. And now that it's trimmed in, I'll show you guys that piece here in a minute. But Danny's basically bending a tube from the strut bar, which is in here, out to the very corner. So that tube will go right in this corner, and then there'll be a Zeus tab one here. And later on, there will be a Zeus tab here. Look, Josh, look, he's got a respirator too. He got a respirator just in case there's carbon fiber grinding going around. When he has passed through this area of the shop, he can put his respirator on. Good job, Josh. I like it. All right, back to this. That's what Danny's doing now. We got another respirator just in case someone on the video is watching and you live close to Lakeland, we'll send you this respirator so you're safe while you're watching. Danny's bending this tube. It's a really pain to get to. We also still have the turbo and a downpipe in because when he does the bottom tube, it'll have to kind of bend around the downpipe and a wastegate tube, so that corner of the fender will stay attached all the time, and then there will just be a few Zeus's that hold the front end onto that. I'll show you that when we get a little bit closer. Right now he's doing a top mount. We talked about this before. As you can see, the hood has a body line here, the front end body line's here. So they send this piece with the front end. And what we'll do with this piece is it'll get added basically to both these, and that'll be how our front end and hood meet the windshield. Once we get this Zeus tab here, Troy will kind of dissect this into there. I think the people that are going to paint it, we're going to get it all clecoed in there. They're going to do the carbon work at paint, which we'll probably show you, and they also have a channel, so they'll probably show some of that stuff also. That's kind of what we're doing. We'll show you a little more as we go. Once we take the front end off and you can see in there, it'll make more sense. And that's about it. On a serious note, we understand that Taylor should have been wearing a respirator. He started doing some small hand sanding. No excuses. We're joking around about the respirator a little bit, but we do know it is safe to wear a respirator. And Taylor promises he's never gonna do it again because he lost a pizza day on Friday for everybody because he didn't have his respirator on. He didn't get a sticky note, a star. He didn't get anything in his calendar to take home to his wife or nothing that week. So he's
I didn't even know it was pizza day.
Well, it wasn't pizza day because you didn't wear your
I
respirator.
didn't know that, man.
Yeah. So he lost pizza.
Okay.
He apologizes. It's not gonna happen again.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah.
You didn't even.
We'll do better this week. We'll do better this week.
All right.
Peanut butter and jelly Friday if they all do good.
That's actually not a terrible idea.
I like peanut butter and jelly.
They're good.
You got to take the crust off.
That's just an Uncrustable.
Yeah, you're right. If you haven't already checked out our merch, make sure you go over to CJRaceCars.com and check out our merch. We got a bunch of designs in stock. We got our Nova shirt. We got our American Made shirt, which we also have in gray and white. We also have our retro shirt. We have this shirt in black also. It's probably one of our most popular shirts. And thanks for all the support. And please buy some merch because all the merch comes with bags of candy. And if you guys don't buy the merch and get the candy, I'm gonna end up gaining a bunch of weight. Also, what we have going on while Danny's doing some stuff and Troy's also finishing the very last piece of the window on the driver's side, and that'll be done. You can see Taylor's got some stuff piling up over here. We're starting to disassemble Eagle and put stuff where it goes. So we got coils and coil mounts, burn down tubes here, some of the titanium for the fuel cell. And then on this side, we have what'll be going to powder coat and basically in different colors. So this will all be wrinkle. It'll be a wrinkle satin black. We'll have satin black, and then we're not going to tell you the color of the chassis yet until you guys see it. But everything's starting to come over here. He's got the brake kit over here, blow-up valves. These two shelves will pretty much be full of parts. Before we put the car back together, all the titanium pieces we wash with soap and water to clean them. Kind of gives them a little polished look, cleans them up really good. So that's the area we're in now. Very little bit of fabrication left. Starting to disassemble. He's bringing over brake lines, fire lines, and everything that we'll need to put the car back together is coming over into this area. Right now I can't show you behind Travis because they might be able to see the glare in my Leroy's right here. But Leroy's going to be leaving, swapping spots when Eagle goes to powder coat and coming back. This is where we will be assembling Eagle at. So moving everything over here. Danny's finishing up some stuff. A lot going on. Probably going to be a long weekend. Car's going to go to powder coat Monday is the plan. And then after powder coat, we'll slap the body on it and we're going to drive to Georgia to get this thing painted. We'll show you guys the paint shop. I'm sure Cletus will probably show you guys the color first, but we'll at least let you guys meet the guys there, show you what he's going to do, show you as much as we can. Also, Travis is going to be going to wiring probably next week to show you more on the harness. That'll be a pretty cool deal. I know they already started on the harness. Everything's really starting to fall into place. Within probably 3 or 4 weeks, this thing's going to be running car with paint on it. So really awesome. Ready for this one to be done. Can't wait to see Cletus out there making some 5-second passes and having a good time with it. Yeah, but it's going to have to go here.
This is like a little bit concave. Why didn't you go back over it? You see what I'm saying?
I would have put more fingers down in there.
That's about where it goes, right? Like that. And I did get this at a 90 by just pure guesswork, just luck. Because when you're up inside there, you can't tell if this thing's like this, or anything. So anyway, that's about where we were at.
And we just went like barely in front of the pan and then across and then back. Like it's only there to cover the pan.
Right.
I mean, and just
I think
cut it to where.
Well, I think typically we try to catch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, but that pan's pretty.
I mean, I can go an inch in front of that hole, or and then lop it off.
You'll have to come forward a little bit to get in front of the pan, but
Yeah.
just leave some meat in front of the pan, and then just get your measurement from like the bottom of the pan to the bottom of the balancer. You're gonna go right past the Zeus. You're gonna go as close as you can to the pan, and that'll be it.
Here we had a deep well 15/16 socket.
I got it.
You can go in front just a little bit, right? And then break it back just ½ inch past the balancer. And then if we need to do a final trim for these hoses later, that's fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's. Okay.
You are going to go a little shorter here anyway. You're going to put the same height as this side down here, so you're going to lose. It's not going to be that tall. It's going to be this tall up here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like you did the back.
I have to trim for the starter and everything on this side.
Right.
Should I take that off the whole length?
How far you got to go?
At least that probably.
I'd take it off the whole length.
If not more.
Yeah, you can take it off the whole.
Okay. So I can take it apart and throw it in the shear backwards and stomp it that way if I need to.
On 56.
We've got this mount now in position. It catches the top of the front end right here. We may or may not put a little brace on this. It's not even welded out solid yet, and it's pretty solid. We put the turbos back on because now we have to make a framework that's going to come off of here somewhere, like on the end of this cap probably. It'll come off, it'll come out. It's going to go along here. It'll bend up, and then it'll bend over. It'll come back this way, and then right around where the end of my finger is, it's going to bend down a little bit and probably go back and tie in like around this door hinge right here. We come up like this with it and then bend it over. When the door opens, it doesn't interfere with it, because the door, when it opens, the closest point to anything is right here, and it clears it. So as long as we are below that, we checked it, it opens up good. But like I said, that framework will be out like so, come back over, tie into here. That will be what the bottom piece of the fender will be bolted to that. There will be a lip around the outside of that will fiberglass on wide enough that we can put Zeus springs and everything in it. And then the front end will actually Zeus to that piece. So when you pull the front end off, you'll pop this Zeus out. You'll have probably one here, maybe one here, maybe one there, might be 4, might be 3, we're not sure yet. We'll pop that off, and then front end comes off. That little piece of the fiberglass right here that'll be painted the same as the car stays on the car along with the exhaust that comes out, and that's the way we have to do that. Otherwise, when you have a big old bullhorn coming out of here, you're not going to get the front end out. So you have to leave that on the car. And so that's the next project. Work on this side, then we'll go over and work on the other side, making that framework, and then we'll have the front end mount.
All right, so we mentioned in the last video that we have a last minute change to the turbo system. A lot of people have kind of guessed what it was, and a lot of people have mentioned it over the course of the build. Thankfully, right here at the end of the build, we were able to get this from our good friends over at Induction Performance. Call Victor, and they keep all this kind of stuff right on the shelf. So if you guys ever need Turbo Smart stuff or precision stuff, those guys stock a ton of it. The last minute change is they're adding an E-gate to the intake side of the turbo system. This is something a lot of cars are starting to do. A lot of people asked about this, and at first we weren't sure if we were going to do it. Once they decided Fuel Tech, I think Mickey and Victor kind of both are running this on their cars. So this is the way a lot of people are doing it. They use this to regulate boost and on the intake side instead of just on the exhaust side. So we will be adding this. You know, a lot of people asked about it. We have never done a car with this. This is still something that's pretty new. Obviously, if you guys watch a lot of drag racing, you see that Mickey's had a lot of luck with it. I think he just went like a 355 at 229 miles an hour and eighth. So absolutely awesome. That car's super consistent for a turbo car, and I'm glad we're adding this. Excited to see what it does. I don't know if there's a lot of radial cars that have it yet. Some people say they like it, some people say they don't. So we'll see how it goes. But this is what we're adding to the turbo system. We'll be making a piping for this. We may do this after powder coat because we are still waiting on a few clamps that we had to order separately. But again, if you guys need anything from Turbo Smart, Victor at Induction Performance, awesome people to deal with. I ordered this. I think they shipped it before I even got the invoice. So they did awesome with that. And we'll get this added. I think this is about the last change we got to do that we weren't planning on right away. Something else we decided to add, and I'm not sure if we showed it yet or not, I don't think we have, is lamb roll control. So basically what that is it's this deal here. It gets CO2 in and puts CO2 out. It magnifies the CO2 pressure in by 5. So I think if there's 50 pounds, if you want it to have 50 pounds going in, it'll have 250 coming out. And this now is another brake line that'll run from that into the front brakes. So when you hit the line lock, instead of having to pump the brakes and get the pressure to where you want and then hitting the line lock, this uses the CO2 to add the pressure you want. So the desired pressure, it's the same every single time, and it'll add that. So you just hit a button, it'll add CO2 to the brake pressure, and you'll have the same pressure to your line lock every time. Something we've only done in a few cars, and decided to add it to this car. Just something we want to show you guys. We haven't put them in a lot of cars, but it's a really cool feature. We did put one in Brian Markowitz's Nova because he had one in his RVW car. So added that, want to show you that. We will have to fabricate that line through the chassis after powder coat, because that line, like the other line that goes through the chassis, the final bend has to be done after powder coat. We can't put it in, bend the line, and then send it to powder coat, because the line would end up powder coated, I guess, unless you tape it off really good, which would be difficult. So that'll be one more thing we had to fabricate after powder coat. Again, this thing has all the sensors, all the electronics, all the data you could think of, everything that'll help, e-gate, lamb control, everything. All right, everyone, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. The next time you guys see Eagle, it'll probably be just a bare chassis and heading to powder coat. We will show you the powder coat process. I think Cletus is also gonna go with us to powder coat and see how that process goes. So we'll show you all that. Something else I want to do that we've never actually done before is weigh this chassis before we send it to powder coat, weigh the chassis when it comes back from powder coat. A lot of people are curious how much powder coat weighs. To be honest, I don't know the answer. So definitely something we'll do, see what it adds. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.